The WNBA and its players' union are in high-stakes talks over a new collective bargaining agreement. Players say the league's current offer doesn't fairly reflect their work or the league's growth, and they are pushing for better pay and working conditions. With Sunday's deadline fast approaching, a strike or a lockout is a real possibility. Joining us with a breakdown on the latest developments is WNBA writer Chelsea Late. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, where do things sit right now, Friday morning?
I mean, negotiations are going to be ongoing probably throughout the weekend, possibly beyond. It's just, a thing where the WNBA is handing offers. The union is trying to see if they work with the values that they have been trying to, put forth in the league for the past few years. And then they just kind of go back and forth. But as of right now, the updates are that negotiations are still ongoing.
Yeah, players, as we said, they're pushing for bigger salaries and, more importantly, revenue sharing. Why is this a critical point for them?
I mean, there's just so much growth going on right now in the WNBA, and the reality is that revenue sharing in the last deal didn't really exactly reflect the growth that the WNBA has experienced in the past 5 years. But that was because no one could really expect the growth that the WNBA experienced in the past 5 years, and so the players just want their piece of the entire share to reflect that growth, but also grow with the league. And so that means having a very solid revenue sharing program in place that doesn't have to hit any targets or have any guidelines like that, and is just set in place from year one, but also grows throughout the length of the contract.
Yeah, depending on which side you are on this negotiation, fair has a different definition. The league, for their part, says their proposal is generous on paper. What's the reason the players are saying we're not ready to accept this yet?
I think it's because the growth factor. I think they want something that's going to grow with them over, the intense viewership influx that we're seeing in the WNBA. And when you think about expansion, I mean, we're the exact target audience of that. They're expanding internationally next year into Toronto. And so we're going to get a whole new bunch of fans coming into the WNBA, and they want that revenue sharing to be able to grow with them and not just stay stagnant like it has been over the past few years. And so I think that's really the holdout right now, is that the salary increase is nice, but they want the growth of the salary each year and the revenue sharing to be able to match, other leagues and other, basically the metrics that they have in mind.
Whatever is or isn't worked out here does affect us here in Canada, because as you mentioned, the Toronto Temple is making their WNBA debut next season. Yeah. What effect will these negotiations have as this team is starting to get ready? We've got a new coach. We're trying to attract players.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing right now is timing in terms of being able to fit everything in their off season, including an expansion draft, free agency, where over 80% of the league is going into the free agency period as free agents. And so it's a huge pool of talent. And then you think about the college draft as well. March Madness is the NCAA tournament. The draft usually happens about a week after. And so having enough time in the offseason to fit everything in and still start the WNBA season at a time where you have time to have the whole season, because then you have a Women's World Cup at the end of the season in October as well. So we have a timeline that we have to really be fitting into. And time is ticking.
When we look to other sports, we have seen strikes, we have seen lockouts, and they have been devastating for a season, devastating for fans, for the players. Nobody, it feels like nobody wins in that scenario. The deadline is on Sunday. A strike or lockout, a real possibility. What would that mean for the WNBA season, especially as, it's not new, but it's still growing?
Yeah, I mean, right now is a really important time for growth in terms of the WNBA expanding internationally, expanding 3 teams in 2 seasons over the past few years. And so it would just be kind of a halt in all of that. There's a lot of deals you have to think about in terms of broadcasting and, business stuff. And so it would just kind of halt that growth. But at the same time, I think it is really important for the players to hold out for a deal that is really historic and is something that is going to have a ripple effect across women's sports across the board. And so, they're doing it for good reason, and you just kind of hope that a resolution comes sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Chelsea Late, WNBA writer, great to have you with us on this Friday ahead of a deadline Sunday. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.